Gator typed, "Gay Ops Winston," and pressed enter, as he leaned back with the smuggest of smirks contorting through the grooves in the flesh of his face. He had done it. He had caught the notorious Godwinson, and he had done it all by himself. He didn't need any Anon's praise. He was the man who could achieve the results that Ethan Ralph wanted. He caught that person, the notorious idol of the image boards, red-handed. The thought alone made his chest palpitate in furious vigor that he had not experienced since he had imagined the warmth of a blonde Puerto Rican's loving embrace. He silently chuckled to himself, his fat rolls threatening to constrict the arteries of his heart. He leaned to his side to grab the bottle of Gatorade from the floor. As he lifted back up into his chair, relieving a joyous grunt, he realized that the bottle was empty. He threw it across the room, aiming for the pile of empty bottles, some of which had been lying around for 2 weeks, waiting to be brought to the trash. He coughed, and for a brief, frightening moment thought, cardiac arrest, as he slowly lifted his mass from the worn-out chair, wiggling to release the adhesive bonding the sweat had formed between his flesh and the wood. He stomped off into a quest for a new full bottle. After having searched through a pile of bottles filled with piss, he returned 5 minutes later, steadily slipping back into his chair. Carefully, lest the chair break under the momentum that his 600-pound body could create in a sudden loss of composure to gravity. The now cooled down sweat briefly bringing a moment of cooling refreshment tingling down his spine. He glanced at the digital clock next to his screen, and through the layers of several months of dust he could make out what time it was, but not that the time mattered anyway. He pushed his hand through a forest of empty candy wrappings to reach for the mouse, steadily maneuvering his fingers into a position that would allow him to click without having his fat fingers roll the mouse wheel. Finally succeeding, he scrolled down the thread that had become occupied by these vile people who had made fun of Ethan Ralph. Those people, hiding behind the cowardice known as anonymity, had the audacity of claiming that they were more successful than him, that they were smarter than him, that just by laughing at him they were right, and he was wrong. He attempted to resist his deep inner urge to reply after reading post after post after post, mocking his appearance, demeanor, his intelligence, his occupation, the sound of his voice, and everything he had been saying.
These fucking incels, man.
But one post, in particular, attracted his attention. It was a screen cap from his private Discord server, where he had typed mere minutes before. The poster revealed that the user who had talked about Godwinson contacting his much-desired and beloved Kirsten had in fact been incorrect. Shannon's face turned pale as a man who barely saw 2 hours of sunlight a week could get. He had not expected this. But his plan had been so perfect. How could they? How could he, the base Shannon himself, the eternal old fag, have fallen for such an obvious ruse? All the built-up anxiety came crashing back through as he silently shed a tear, alone in his one-bedroom apartment.